Very good afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, it's such a pleasure to be once again be a part of this session. We all know that manufacturing is key to creating jobs, not necessarily in the manufacturing sector itself always, but even to create jobs in the services sector, we need a healthy and robust growth of manufacturing. Make in India program launched in September 2014 actually has made very drastic changes in many policies, including tax policies, skilling, ease of doing business in the entire manufacturing landscape of the country. Soon we'll be publishing our progress reports of what these specific efforts are. We have already brought out achievement reports of various sectors under Make in India. But today, I'd just like to touch upon a few things that have been done and a few things that we have in mind. Foreign direct investment is a key, as we know, to promoting growth in the country. There have been a slew of FDI reforms in the last 2.5 years. We have not only opened up sectors, we have made processes much simpler. The result has been quite remarkable. We have seen $156 billion of FDI in the country in the last 3 financial years, and the data for March is yet to come. So it will be, in this financial year itself, it's more than $56 billion of FDI. And as announced by the Finance Minister, even the FIPB that was giving clearance to roughly 10% of the overall proposals, since 90% investment comes under automatic route, that is also going to be abolished. And we are working on a number of other FDI reforms to make things even simpler. So in coming years, in this year itself, we can look forward to a lot of FDI reforms. Not only that we are doing these reforms and getting FDI, we are seeing enormous amount of interest of foreign investors also. And for the first time in the last 2 years, we have a investment facilitation agency in the government of India by way of Invest India, and they have been actively working on facilitating investments in the country. Right now, they are facilitating investments of almost $70 billion. They are working on 500 specific deals. More than $3 billion have already been invested in the country due to their efforts. And another very good news is the states are also working very hard. Most of the states have now investment promotion agencies. They have investor promotion events. And soon we are planning to have a workshop of all the state investment promotion agencies where we will try to synergize the efforts of the states, have some kind of common strategy, structure of investor promotion events, and also learn and make some critical interventions from the central and state levels. So, ease of doing business has been another very critical part of our efforts to promote manufacturing and a suitable business climate. Cabinet Secretary has already mentioned about some of the work that has been done and is being done. And a very important part of this ease of doing business is the change in mindsets. The work that we have done and we are doing on the World Bank, doing business report parameters, or the ranking of states and other ease of doing business work still is a part of the overall ease of doing business work that is to be done in the country. But it is to be appreciated that after a very, very long time, perhaps for the first time, such concerted efforts and determined efforts are being made to change mindsets and to ensure that we have technology-driven governance, no physical touch points, and really people should be not approaching or interacting with any government official whatsoever. So this kind of mindset, this kind of strategy is really very, very interesting. And recently we had a series of meetings with the World Bank Doing Business team in Washington about the work that has been done. And also the bank and many countries are very impressed by the way we have done ranking of states on ease of doing business, that too on a public platform. Many countries have approached the World Bank to come to India and share that experience. Last year, as many of you would know, we were doing ranking of states along with the support of a small World Bank team in DIPP on a public platform. That created enormous competition. Today, whether it's online systems, single window, inspection systems, or many other doing business parameters in the states, they are really working hard, trying to outdo each other. And it's only, as Cabinet Secretary mentioned, unless the center and states work together on creating a suitable business climate, the cost of doing business will not come down. So I think that is a very good news, and this is going to be taken forward again in a major way. I think another very important part of promoting manufacturing is more stress on research and development. As we all know, our expenditure, including especially the industry expenditure on R&D, is very, very low compared to many other countries which are doing well in manufacturing. I think that's an area that needs a lot of work. Even public funding on R&D needs to go up and need to be optimized. And we are also working on Industry 4.0, smart manufacturing policy. We are working with CII closely on that as well. We had also been working with them earlier on making some champion sectors the focus of Make in India. Anant and his team have done very good work on that, and we are also being benefited by that work of CII. Tax policies, we already mentioned that GST and direct taxes also now, there is a lower tax regime gradually coming in the country. Already it has been made 25% for companies with a turnover of less than 50 crores, even for the new companies who don't avail of any exemption. And I think this is a trend that is going to continue. I think protection of domestic manufacturing is another very important reform that we are doing now in public procurement. We have noted the industry have pointed out to us that many of the public procurements are being done with conditions which are discriminatory towards domestic manufacturing or against domestic manufacturing. We have identified a number of these practices. We also would like to prescribe some local domestic value addition requirement for public procurement, as is being done by electronics items and some other ministries. So this kind of policy we are working on. It will not only remove any possible discrimination against domestic manufacturing, but actually incentivize them by giving some preferential market access in public procurement. And hopefully once the central government does that, many states also may like to join it. Skill development is another very important reform. Our young population will be able to contribute much more to the manufacturing sector and services sector, both in India and even abroad, by being skilled, by having the right kind of skills. The Skill India program of the government is another very critical reform which is required for manufacturing, and this is also going very well. Startups, just like to briefly mention that any reform is not complete without startups. Last year, Startup India Action Plan was announced by the Prime Minister. We have done a series of actions to implement that plan. We have a fund of funds for startups, under which so far 623 crore rupees have been given to 17 alternative investment funds by way of equity through SIDBI, and they have already funded very large number of startups, more than 150 startups. And total amount of 10,000 crores has been promised in the next 8 years for the startups by way of equity. We are also setting up a 2,000 crore credit guarantee scheme, which will further improve flow of credit to startups in the country. In addition, a lot of infrastructure for startups is being set up, whether by way of research parks, incubators, technology business incubators, tinkering labs in schools, upgradation of existing incubators, or even setting up new ones. So a lot of action is being taken by various departments and ministries on startups. And very important, we are also looking at a number of laws, regulations, which come in the way of growth of startups. Almost more than a dozen such regulations have been made or changed last year to help the startups. But we have another list of such changes that need to be done, and we are working on that. I think next 5 to 10 years we'll see a lot of growth of startups in the country. And our continuous interaction with the startup community is helping us make those policies tried to influence the decisions of various ministries to come out with the conducive and supportive policies for startups in the country. So there are many other changes. For example, in ease of doing business, I just wanted to mention the direct delivery from ports. Earlier, this percentage was just about 6% till 1 year back. Today in JNPT, this percentage is 36%. And they are hoping that this percentage will go up to about 60% in the next few months. This is the kind of dramatic work that has been done in some of these ease of doing business efforts. And we are all aware of the savings in cost and time for the business with this kind of very dramatic changes. Maybe there should be more time for questions and answers, but once again, thank you CII for giving us the opportunity. Thank you.